Today's date is November 9, Thursday, November 9, 2017. Once more, I greet you all the whole people of goodwill. Greetings to all people of goodwill on earth who still have conscience and the fear of God in their being. I greet you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. As always, my name is Chira Ezogu, the Incon writer. The messenger of the carcass that will draw up the eagle of God for translation and prepare the elect of God for other end time scenarios. I've always said it. When I say carcass does not mean a literally dead body. It means fresh meat in the spiritual. Once more, we are going to have a fresh baked bread from the oven of God, direct in heaven for his own people. I pray that God will anoint this message so that we enter into the ears of those whom this message is meant for, and they continue to expand this message, grow it, because the Lord said that at the end of the time, that the knowledge of the true God will break forth and cover the whole surface of this earth. And this is a major part of that message, that will cover the whole part of the earth, so that people will know the identity of the real God and humanity is being saved in it. It is the message that will reveal the secret things of deity and reveal the secret maneuvers of the rulers of darkness. So this is not a common message you hear every day. It's an extraordinary message, fresh from the oven of God. Not what you hear in your normal churches that you go to. It is something special. Humanity everywhere have to key into this message, because the deliverance potency in this message. Like I always said, you ask God to give you the spirit of discernment to be able to discern and be able to hold on to the present truth, so that you can be able to really save yourself in this dangerous time that we are living in, when delusion has spread and covered all the whole surface of this earth. Because if you miss this, it is going to be really terrible. So don't miss this boat. The last time I came on air, I broadcasted to you people, was on Monday, November 6, 2017. Today again, on that edition, I told you that we are going to look into the Chibok girls, the kidnappers of the Chibok girls, and Boko Haram. We are going to see a lot of things today. And as I always said, the speech of John Kerry in Sokoto on Tuesday, the 23rd of August 2016, Google it and keep it, so that anytime we are going through this, you can be able to follow up. Very important. Very important, so that you understand exactly what we are doing. So this is my fifth message, message number 5, and my fourth, number 4 voice message that we are going to be looking into now, today. So in the last time we came together, we stopped at, the speech of John Kerry. We are reviewing it. The last place we stopped last time is that militants feel it easier to intimidate and brainwash young girls than adult women. Besides, these girls come cheap, and most of them are extremely loyal, says Yusuf Mohammed, who works with young people affected by trauma in Maiduguri, the birthplace of Boko Haram. The use of these young women began not long after more than 299 young women were kidnapped from their school in Chibok. That is the Chibok girls. So still continuing with that review, still continuing, by, citing the publication in the Sun newspaper we were reading last time. Many years ago in 2010, the Sun newspaper reported the agony of 18 widows whose husbands were killed by Boko Haram sect. They told the story of one of them, Mrs. Esther Yakubu, who lived at Beyan quarters, that is Rewe quarters, Borno State. She recounts her ordeal in the hands of the deadly set. According to her, I'm quoting her, "My husband was a police sergeant attached to the highway police patrol in the state. In the afternoon of Sunday, July 27, 2010, we noticed there were a lot of people, mostly in the Mohammed Yusuf Center opposite our quarters. There were more than 1,000. They stood in front of the center, dressed in khaki and military camouflage, with each person having a bag stationed beside him. Some carried bows. I want you to notice the weapon they are carrying, because we will still come back to this particular weapon they are carrying when we review the prophecies of the sages of the old, the sages of the ancient time who saw the future. So we take notice of this. Some carried bows, arrows, cutlass, and sticks. But I didn't see any gun at that time. Their leader also giving them instruction to prepare for the task ahead by holding any weapon they could lay their hands on. We were afraid at that time. Later they marched to the main road, and we were stopping and searching vehicles that passed. By 10 p.m. that Sunday, they started shooting repeatedly, and the shooting continued to daybreak. Then in the morning on Monday, they started shooting again, asking everybody to vacate the railway quarters area that the place now belongs to them. Unfortunately, we could not leave the area on that Monday because they have sealed off the entire place with their men. On Tuesday, they broke into each house. When they came to my apartment, they asked my husband and my children to lie down. It was then they asked my husband to recite some verses in the Quran. As soon as they realized he could not do that, since he is a Christian, one of them brought out his knife and slaughtered my husband like a goat. I have let it bear. That's the end of the quote. I have let it bear for Biafrans, because all this time I've been telling them the fate that before them, that will before them in the hands of the evil people that confronted them. I've let it bear for you, Biafrans, to understand what the war led by America at the international level, Buhari, Obasanjo, Sultan of Sokoto locally have in store for them. There is no escape for Biafrans, as you must prepare well for your deaths. That is the only way to go. Above narrations are what the Biafrans, men, women, children will go through as their sons and daughters are carried away and trained to kill their parents, afterward taken to other countries to fight for Allah. Then God Jesus will not hold any meaning to them anymore. The only way out is that you must kill those who have come to kill you. Lay your hands upon any weapon you can lay your hands upon today. Think well what weapon you can use to wrought the most maximum destruction of the agents of faith that have come to kill you and your family. And hold that weapon very well. Teach your wife how to use it. Teach your children, no matter how old, how to use it to kill and be killed. Woe betide any of you who will say I cannot kill because my God forbid me to kill. Then they come in and ask your son to cut your manhood in your sight, ask your daughters to make love to their fathers and mothers, and afterwards butcher you like a goat, and you say you're God. Which God are you referring to? Jehovah is the man of war. Jesus is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. If you don't kill them, and they wreck your family and let us slaughter you like a goat, then you go straight to hellfire, everlasting hellfire like a goat. You go there as a goat, that's all. It's already too late. I've said it before. I've said it before in another past edition. It's already too late to say, oh, let me relocate to the east. Not necessary anymore. It is a war that must be fought on all fronts. Anywhere you find yourself is a battlefield and your burial ground. They are dressing like us in the east, studying our movements, surveying their targets, waiting for D-Day. In Lagos, dressed like the Yorubas. In Kano, Kaduna, Abuja, dressed like the Hausas and Fulanis. Anywhere you are, dressed like them. Survey your own targets in your own area wherever you are. When it starts, kill them there. Whether they are soldiers, police, DSS, national security forces do not exist anymore. Sultan of Sokoto said that they are foreign terrorists. That is what he called the herdsmen. So you must never allow foreign terrorists to kill you in your country. Kill them all as we look unto our Lord who has warned us in ages past against this day and promised that, and 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight, and your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. Go to Leviticus 26 to say, those in Biafra land, form yourself into groups, monitor them, develop the innate abilities that God has given you. If it is catapult that you know how to make, go and make it, and plan how to conquer the armored tanks and use it against them. Do not mind any so-called governors from the eastern region because they have sold their hearts and their souls to demons. They are evil men. Do not return any catchy of weapons to anybody. Share it to others of your brothers and sisters. Share it to others of your brothers and start whatever they do to us, do it to them. It is called MAD, M-O-A-D, mutual assured destruction. That is the only way, the only language for now. And whatever remaineth, let the earth replenish. Unless Muhammad Buhari steps down and arrested and the armed forces disbanded and put to regional control. If not, do not mind anybody. It's serious. Look at what they did to the chibok girls. Similarly, the Mail Online, I'm citing a publication of the Mail Online, on Monday 30th, 2015, reported that the chibok girls kidnapped since 2004 have been brainwashed. The report said other women who were captured by the group claimed they were held in the same camp as some of the kidnapped chibok girls, who are now carrying out killings on behalf of their captors. The Mail Online quoted Amnesty International as saying it was aware that out of the 276 girls abducted from the boarding school by militants more than a year ago, some of the 219 missing girls have been forced to fight for Boko Haram. They're only returning the ones that are safe, sane. The other ones they have radicalized them. Nesanet Bele, a director with the African Department of the charity, said the abduction and brutalization of young women and girls seems to be part of the modus operandi of Boko Haram. One 17-year-old witness told BBC Panorama that after she was captured by Boko Haram, she was told she would become the wife of one of the militants. When she refused, they slit the throat of 4 men in front of her and said she would suffer the same fate if she did not cooperate. The teenager who went on to marry a Boko Haram member was repeatedly raped and is now pregnant with his child. She said some of the Chibok schoolgirls were held in the same camp as her, and they urged her to cooperate with her terrorist captors and kill Christian men in front of her. They were Christian men. They, Boko Haram fighters, forced the Christians to lie down, then the girls cut their throats. John in the 5 years said the Chibok girls told us, young women should learn from their husband because they are giving their blood for the cause. We must also go to war for Allah. This is what they will turn Biafran youngsters into. This is what US President Barack Obama ordered to be done in Biafra land. Who created ISIS? The same America. Who created Al-Qaeda? America. Who created Boko Haram? America. The same America. Let's stop this TV and just bring it out. Let me show you people the captors of the Chibok girls. And then you see how they created all these groups. You are going to see it. You are going to see it. Now, let's take the case of Boko Haram, for instance. The Boko Haram activities, the highlight of the climax of the book, the highlight of the Boko Haram activities came on the rise in 2009, and it had been so to date. That was when the demise of their leader, Yusuf, and all that, came up and the agitation started. They started troubling everywhere. So from 2009 to date, the activities have been on the high. Then from that 2009, Buhari should tell the whole world how many of the terrorists his administration has prosecuted since he came to power and convicted, bearing in mind that this same Buhari, used a retroactive law he created to execute three Sultanas. That was when he committed treason by overthrowing a legally elected government. That's the government of Shagari's government. That was done. The names of those people are Owo, Ogedebe, and Ojolepe. That was in 1985. As the military head of state, for cocaine pushing, Buhari executed them. Now let him tell us how many Boko Harams he has been able to execute. According to a new report, lawyers doubt the federal government capacity to prosecute the 1,670 Boko Haram suspects it claimed to have in its custody. They claim they have 1,670 Boko Haram in their custody. It is reported again that over 3,000 Boko Haram terrorist cases are stored in various courts in the land. This outside the 1,000 they have released. The Vanguard newspaper of September 30th, 2017 reported that the trials of Boko Haram suspects is to be heard behind closed doors. I want the whole world to listen and hear. Because we are going to bring in a lot of things. Behind closed doors. Their trial will be behind closed doors. The whole world should listen to this news report. According to the paper, the move was made on security ground following discussion between the government and the Department of State Service Intelligence Agency. There will be no access to the media. Can you imagine? Said the official who asked not to be mentioned. The decision was based on the need for confidentiality because of security reasons that may come up during the trial. The Justice Ministry announced last week that the trial of more than 1,600 suspects were scheduled to begin from October 9th. It blamed delays in prosecution on poor investigation techniques, such as lack of forensic evidences, over-reliance on confessionally based evidences, and logistical problems. Now, take note again. As of September 11, 2017, only 13 cases linked to the 8-year insurgency had been concluded with 9 convictions, according to the news report. Can you imagine? So, despite all the colossal atrocities of the Boko Haram sect, including the deaths of over 3,000 policemen, thousands of soldiers, more than 35,000 civilians these people have slaughtered, according to former Inspector General of Police, Arase. He claimed then that police have on his payroll 90,000 widows of police officers' wives related to the insurgencies. Then combine this with trillions of dollars spent on arms, including the kidnap of the chibok schoolgirls. Only 13 cases and 9 convictions have been recorded by the Nigerian government since 2009. The Boko Haram started the insurgency. Can you imagine? What still? Those convictions were not even recorded by the Buhari's administration, but rather he had released most of the 9 suspects convicted in the terrorist acts. That is true. Look at this senator from Borno State, Ali Ndume, a prominent member of the Senate, even a leader in one of these of their training. Ali Ndume. During Jonathan's regime, this man was accused of heavy sponsor of terrorism of Boko Haram. Boko Haram member came out and accused him of being their sponsor. That is his namesake, Ali Konduga. Came out and accused. This was a man who gave Boko Haram the numbers of the vice president, even the attorney general of this federation, then. Ali Ndume. He's still a serving senator today. What happened? In order to kill his case, Buhari had to release Ali Konduga from prison. Boko Haram member released from prison. So when Ndume's case came up, no case submission. That case is dead today because there's no witness to prove Ndume's connection with them. The only witness, Buhari have released him from prison. And the moment this guy was released from prison, he went to Ndume's house 3 complete times, to the extent that police had to arrest him. We arrest him again. Now he's a free man. That is what Buhari have been doing with Boko Haram. Look at it, Ali Ndume is still there. Just recently went and slapped a member of his own state house of assembly. Just recently, he just came back from suspension from the Senate. That is what we are seeing in Nigeria. That's it. Those convictions were not made by the Buhari's administration. Rather, he had released most of the 9 suspected convicted terrorists. Are you beginning to see deeper into that? Into those that created and are using the Boko Haram to cause wahala in the country. Can you imagine? Human rights groups, I'm still quoting the thing. The report continues. Human rights groups have criticized the Nigerian military for the arbitrary arrest of civilians and detention of suspects for lengthy periods of time without access to legal counsel. The announcement that due process was finally to begin was given a cautious welcome, but a ban on media access will likely raise concern about transparency. The ministry sources said, I want people to look and listen and see what is happening in the world. The military sources said the British High Commission and U.S. Embassy in Abuja, the United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, and the International Red Cross will be given observer status. They will be able to monitor how proceedings are carried out, and obviously the suspect will be given legal representatives. He added, a case that is happening in Nigeria. The media in Nigeria cannot be given access. You look at the people that will be given access. You will see why they are giving them access. They will be able to monitor how proceedings are carried out, and obviously the suspects will be given legal representatives, he added. Still continuing, the report stated, the trials will take place in military detention facilities, not in court, military detention facilities in Kayenji, Kogi State, and New Bosa in Niger State, both in central Nigeria. Hearing will also be held in the Borno State capital, Maiduguri, where Boko Haram was founded in 2002 and which has been at the epic center of the long-running violence. Very important I pause here for emphasis before going further. You see, the assumption that Boko Haram was founded in 2002 has always been their springboard to deceive the gullible world. Before the 2002 Yusuf Boko Haram, as I mentioned in part 1 and other series, you see, another write-ups. Before it, there was the main well-trained, sophisticated Boko Haram created in 1999 to 2000. That is during Obasanjo's operation, Obasanjo and Bill Clinton's Operation Focus Relief. That was when Clinton was still in power in the United States of America. You see, that was what happened. And that Boko Haram of Operation Focus Relief, you can say Shakawe, the one they're calling Shekau led Boko Haram and all that. They merged with strong elements, strong troops of Yusuf, Abanawi and Co. They merged with them. It is these people that merged together. Those were the people that were used to kidnap the Chibok girls. So when you hear about the splinter group, in Boko Haram, it is Yusuf people that merge with those people created at Operation Focus Relief, separating. That is the new group that Abawani was leading. That is how it came about. They combined the tough ones in these ones, merged with the Operation Focus Relief Boko Haram that was formed by Bill Clinton and Obasanjo. They were the people that were used to kidnap the Chibok girls. And it is because of the anachronistic nature of this gang used to kidnap the Chibok girls is the main reason why Nigerians could not have a clue to the sponsors of the kidnap, which I had reversed several times as the gang and countries watch the gang and countries behind the Bakassi Peninsula deal, behind the Green Tree Agreement. The same people are these people behind the construction of Mike Adenuga's Globacom, which they used to launder most of the day money from the sellout of Bakassi by Obasanjo. Go and cross-check them, starting with the United States of America, United Nations. They are the same people that are giving access. Just mark them. You understand me? They are different bodies. Tetona CNN, France, Britain. They are the main dealer. You understand me? Who are major leaders of the New World Order? They are the deep state, the Antichrist forces. They are the head. If you watch in this news report, they are the same and only people allowed as observers in the would-be secret trial of the Boko Haram terrorists. They are the only people. You see it. Ask yourselves, is it the Hausa Fulani illiterate and Majuris, this ragtag Boko Haram led by late Yusuf in 2002, that suddenly garnered the required highly skilled professionalism and other logistics, both scientifically and otherwise, to organize a kidnap and exchange, organize a kidnap and exchange negotiation of 219 girls kept in safe custody for years. Is it easy? What logistics do you have to garage such quantum number of human beings for such number of years? What capacity? Do you know the what it takes? The scientific requirement to be able to do this? Is it a small thing? The sheer colossal resources that is involved, the sheer intellectual, abilities that should be applied in order to make this a success. Is it possible when the whole world is focused on searching for you and you're able to warehouse this for several years? And it says Yusuf led Boko Haram. Something must be wrong somewhere. And suddenly, United Nations, just imagine them, United Nations, Swiss government, Red Cross International, British government, the foremost of global elite establishment got involved in a negotiated safe deal. That's after all the atrocities they have committed. They that will grant them immunity from prosecution and freedom to enjoy their ransom payment. Can you imagine? So where's the connection? You remember that during Jonathan's era, Boko Haram appointed Buhari to be their spokesman and their chief negotiator because they know the connection. The same way General Buhari, the same way President Buhari called on openly the United Nations should help him and negotiate with the Boko Haram about the release of the chibok girls. A whole United Nations, a whole international body like United Nations that is there to prevent wars, that is there to preserve peace and human dignity. Now is calling them to be negotiator because he knows their connection to it. Because he knows their connection to it. Remember that on the 13th of October, 2016, the news broke out that 21 victims out of the 219 remaining Chibok girls in the captivity of Boko Haram has been exchanged in a swap deal between the federal government of Buhari and the Boko Haram set that involved the release of some Boko Haram terrorist prisoners, especially their top commanders and bomb makers, as the swap gears landed in the country on 13th of October 2016. According to the Daily Sun report of Friday, I want us to be noting this thing. Daily Sun report of Friday, October 14, 2016, on how the gears were released. The paper reported that the gears release was a product involving the federal government, Swiss authority, the International Red Cross, and Boko Haram representatives. Presidential spokesman Malam Garba Shehu confirmed the negotiation. He said the latest success came after the international intervention between the administration and Boko Haram brokered by the International Red Cross and the Swiss government, adding in a statement that the talks will continue. The Sun reported, according to their source, that the exchange took place on Wednesday night, 12 October 2016, when Nigerian military officials alongside personnel of United Nations, I want you to be listening, look, hear their names, officials alongside, you see, let me repeat it again so that the world will hear, The Sun reported, according to their source, that the exchange took place on Wednesday night, that is 12 October 2016, when Nigerian military officials alongside personnel of United Nations, Red Cross and National Emergency Management Agency conveyed 4 Boko Haram militants by chopper to Banki, a border town in Bama local government area of Borno State. There, 21 gears were picked up. The gears were brought into Maiduguri Air Force Base at about 8:30 a.m. The source said most of the gears had babies. How come the same people and bodies at the center of negotiation on the release of the Chibok school girls are exactly the same and only people and bodies allowed in the upcoming secret trials of some of the same Boko Haram suspects? Can you imagine? Wonder shall never cease to happen. Surely the Lord disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprises. He taketh the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the forward is carried headlong. They meet with darkness in the daylight, in the daytime, and crop in the noonday as in the night. But he severed the poor from the sword, from their mouth, and from the hands of the mighty. That is exactly what happened here. That is it. That's what happened to the glorious kidnappers of the Chibok girls, caught in their own craftiness as we exposing them. The ransom money they paid and ransom demand of $5.2 billion, which Buhari may have paid for the second batch of the girls, is their way of raising money for the maintenance of the various Boko Haram terrorist groups, including Al-Shabaab and other ones, all these hired machineries and weapons they will use to prosecute their war against Biafran very shortly. The news report on the coming secret trial of Boko Haram from the Vanguard newspaper continues. We are still continuing with the news. Umado, a defense lawyer based in northern Nigeria biggest city, Kano, described the move to shutter the media as legally wrong, as justice needed to be seen to be done. Freedom of information demands that the media be allowed access to court trials because they represent the people, the public, which they keep informed. Security concerns were not enough to justify a ban, he said. He concluded by saying, that holding court proceedings in camera is as good as denying the public the right to know. You see, to know how the trials are carried out, which sends the wrong signal that justice is not served or the process is compromised. And that is exactly what it is. So Buhari and his Minister of Information, what is it, Lion Mohammed, etc., and all that, who has been trumpeting the so-called atrocities of IPOB members all over the world, the so-called Daizeni loot, and the ceaseless accusation and bombardment of his predecessor in office, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and the harassment of the wife and other supposed corruptive acts said to have been committed, especially by people of former eastern Nigeria, South and Southeast. Suddenly now they develop cold feet on the trail of Boko Haram suspects. Can you imagine? That have cost trillions of naira, unaccountable number of lives of freedom, that is in a democracy in Nigeria, and seek for a secret trial in which even journalists will not be allowed to cover. Why? Because they know the actors, they know the creators of Boko Haram, they know the actors and the kidnappers of the chibok girls. You see this Buhari? That is Nigeria becoming a private estate with public money and it doesn't care. That's the big one. Buhari must never be allowed to handle the trial of Boko Haram suspects. It's already an international case. He cannot. Cannot. It should never be allowed. That's where the war comes in. Like the ostrich. They bury their head. World leaders bury their head on the ground, pretend that they don't know. The world is a pretender, which is why God most often stimulates a parallel or similar ugly development and responses as a comparative benchmark in judging the actors in the situations and development he wants to judge, which is why he is today watching development in Yama and the Rohingyas Muslim, which the world actors kept mute in order to justify their will-be silence when the ethnic genocide will commence in Biafra land. He is watching Spain, London, where nobody has been killed, in spite of their demanding the same thing, demanding the freedom that the Biafrans are demanding. Have you ever heard of anybody being killed? Nobody. Nobody has been killed. Because of what? Because they are superior. And we, blacks, Biafrans, are rubbish. We are nobody. And I'm saying it, I've said it before. When in heaven, when God say a record of men's activities are kept on earth, they think it's a joke. This expose we are making here is an example that an exact record of men's activities are being kept in heaven. As you do it here, they are looking at you. And what you are reading will stand as a roll of judgment against every world leader on earth today who kept silence in the face of what is going on in Nigeria as of today. This is going to stand as a roll of judgment against you because God himself will judge you because you had it and you decided to keep quiet. The world must stand up and act by arresting Buhari and demanding he hands over the remaining chibok girls wherever they kept them, and demand for the prosecution of the actors of Boko Haram. Now look at this. Suddenly CNN, BBC, etc., high total messengers of Boko Haram. They always the first to lay hands on videos purportedly produced by this Hausa, Fulani, and Majirili Abbas. International media organizations like them. They are the first, the same, that will give it international coverage. They are no longer doing so. Why? You can ask yourself. Why? Because the oxygen that feed them have been dismantled. You can believe anything if you can believe that. People should open their eyes very well and see very clearly the forces of the sponsors of this evil acts that regularly enjoys international coverage in the past, while IPOB and other genuine freedom fighters in the former eastern region have their media and social accounts closed and branded as terrorists. Foreign media brandish Boko Haram videos on chibok girls, yet they don't know where they are, but they are bringing the videos. Yet the videos always get first hand to them immediately they are released. Shine your eyes. All the so-called Boko Haram suspects are being kept in very comfortable facilities that cannot be called prison. Well nourished, and they pay them money and say they are doing radicalization and all that rubbish. They carry out people's money and pay to them and then send back to the society. The bulk of them have been integrated into the Nigerian army as soldiers and mercenaries they will use to prosecute their war and their jihad in Biafra land. Dasuki's $2.1 billion money. Is it not part of the money to fight Boko Haram? The Jordanian government and other Arab countries are amassing great war machines, which they are handing over to Buhari to use to annihilate Biafra. That is it. Unilaterally, Buhari entered all sorts of Islamic organizations, terrorist organizations, D8 and all that. Buhari entered on his own, confident assurance that what he said goes, irrespective of the secularity of the Nigerian state. Even as I'm talking to you, the British Prime Minister Theresa may likely be fired just for ordinary consultation with the Israelis, talking to the Israelis. The ace talking to the Israelis. Look at it. Look at even Trump dealing with Russia. There is a strong limitation for him. There's nothing he can do unless he goes through the Senate, unless he goes through their Congress. But here we are with impunity. One man sign accord everywhere. Sign on behalf of Nigeria. Not minding anything, believing that nothing will happen and eventually nothing happens. That is the man that is ruling Nigeria today. And you say one Nigeria. That's it. Look at it. The Jordanian government had already delivered 200 armored fighting vehicles and other weapons of war to Buhari to use and fight Biafrans. These guys have weapons to fight Boko Haram. Look at it. They are saying we have recovered all Boko Haram territory. That is what the chief of army staff, General Tuko Buratai, said. IG deployed 500 policemen to Aba. Look at it. Vanguard newspaper of September 2017. Remember, even when the Biafran war was coming in at the onset, they say it's police action. That is what they are repeating here. 3 days we are going to tackle it. And it took them more than 3 years. Not even their power. The combined powers of the superpowers combined for 3 years it lasted. And yet Biafrans we are not defeated. They were only killed. If we are defeated, why are we here still talking about it? Our parents were only killed. And we are not defeated. And we are here today. And the same way it happened before, this time around is going to be final for them. They thought it's a police action. There's no problem. We shall see what is going to happen. That's it. They call it a police action, but it's not a police action. Look at it. Nigerian Air Force has eradicated Boko Haram frontier leadership. That is what the Chief of Air Staff said. Sadiq Abubakar, that's what he said. This day newspaper carried it, 2017. Yet to shame them and all this rubbish lies they are talking, their lies and deceit. The same Boko Haram they were earlier claimed had been subdued and territory recovered, the same Boko Haram days later did not go to attack civilian targets, but rather attacked their main military barrack in Bonu around 6:30 p.m. on the evening of September 30, 2019, and killed 2017, and killed many of the so-called Nigerian soldiers. Look at it. Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff said Navy is fully deployed to secure the eastern region. That's what they said. Navy is fully deployed. They are ready to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Integrity threat. NAV said they are combat ready for the East. All of them, they are not ready for Boko Haram. They are combat ready for us. The same weapons that are bought with oil money from the East, the very resources of the people of the former Eastern region, have been used to buy all sorts of monstrous, sardonically clean war helicopters from all over the world, from all manner of crazy leaders of this world, all manner of superpowers. The one President Donald Trump said to Buhari, they were all fitted with guided bombs and rockets. The ones from Russia, they are missile carrying, both from chemical weapons. Same as the ones from Pakistan, all in the name of Boko Haram in the northeast. Now, by their own admittance, that they claim to have wrapped up the Boko Haram insurgent, meaning operation is complete. The NAV, apart from the accidental discharge of bomb at that internally displaced center, the NAV should be able to tell the world how many villages in the north have been destroyed by all those helicopters they say they acquired because of Boko Haram. How many? What have they destroyed? Nothing. Nothing. Because it's not for them. They cannot, because the machines were acquired for war against Biafran, which all the whole world leaders, from Trump to Vladimir Putin to all of them, they knew the purpose and the target of the weapon they supplied to Buhari. They knew exactly what Buhari is going to use it for. And they think they are going to go for it. God is watching them, and they are going to pass through severe hard time in the hands of God, unless they restrain their step I'm a prophet of God, and I'm delivering the message as naked as it is. Not only that when they die, they will confront God. Not even that, they will start to confront God right away from now that they are living. Unless they retrieve their step and intervene and arrest this madman that they called Muhammad Buhari. If not, they are all finished with him. Already, what is happening in Nigeria is a microcosm of what is going to develop all over the world. Their citizens are going to suffer a lot more than what Nigerians have suffered if they don't nip it in the bud as it is today. Let them watch out and they will see what is going to happen. Now look at it. All those Boko Haram they are talking about. Let us see what happened. Let us look at the Boko Haram. I will show you the spot. I will show you. You are going to hear a lot of things today. Now, 45 Boko Haram members convicted, jailed for 31 years. Vanguard, October 14, 2017. A federal high court sitting in Kainji, Niger State, has convicted and sentenced 45 Boko Haram members to between 3 and 31 years in jail. Following the conclusion of the first phase of the trial, during which 575 Boko Haram suspects were arraigned. In a statement issued in Abuja on Friday, the Minister of Information and Culture, that is Laya Mohammed, said that is because they ban journalists. Nobody knows what is happening. So the whole information now comes from the liar himself, from the Laya Mohammed. That is how the public gets to know whatever they want the public to know. So Lai Mohammed said the court also discharged 468 suspects. Nobody is there to know why they are discharged. Look at it, 468 subjects discharged who had no case to answer. 34 cases were struck out, while 28 suspects were remanded for trial in Abuja and Mena. The court ordered that the 468 discharged persons should undergo the radicalization and rehabilitation program before they are handed over to their respective state government. Now, if they are going to go over to if they say they have no case to answer, why are you de-radicalizing them? That will tell you their lies. The trial commenced with the formal remand by the court of 1,669 suspects for a period of 90 days, with the court ordering that they be arraigned within the specified period or released unconditionally. That is how it is always. Unconditional release. Unconditional release. Now look at this one again. Look at what an expert said. Security expert urges caution over mass release of Boko Haram suspects. That's Guardian, October 11, 2017. President of the Association of Industrial Security and Safety Operators of Nigeria, Azon Ona Ekomu, has advised the federal government to exercise caution in the mass release of captured Boko Haram terrorists. He said this was necessary so that society could be protected from incessant terrorist attacks by inadvertently recycling insurgents into the battlefield. That is what they have been doing. Boko Haram now has become a very serious franchise in Nigeria of looting Nigerian common patronymy. In the guise of rebuilding the Northeast, all the whole national money will be stolen, shipped down to the Northeast. From the Northeast, they divide it all over the North, in the claim that they are using it to rebuild the Northeast. The same Boko Haram that they capture, when they capture them, they assume they capture them, they release them again, push them back into the insurgency. When they push them back into the insurgency, they now deploy Southern soldiers to go and confront them. And these people will be killing Southern soldiers. That is the racketing that they have been doing. That is what has been going on, recycling of the insurgency. They capture them, they release them, they push our soldiers, people, especially military personnel from Biafra land. That is how they have been reducing their numbers in the army. So that by the time they are ready, they must have eliminated most of our personnel in the security forces. That is what has been going on. You see, that's what has been going on. His words: releasing suspect terrorists should be based on concrete evidence of repentance and conversion to true Islam, which restores peace. There must be ample evidence of de-radicalization Ekomo said the recent mass release of, make you see how many they released, 760 Boko Haram suspects by the Joint Intelligence Center of Operation Lafiyado. When it is in the north, Operation Lafiyado, the name will sound like heaven. When it is in the south, crocodile smile, python dance. Only that alone is enough to disqualify Buhari and all his disestablished chiefs and the first international criminal court for crime against humanity. Look at it. Lafiyado was rather hasty and ill-advised, as it would tend to worsen the security situation of the Northeast and the country at large. The mass release of suspects without a rigorous investigation of each suspect would tend to worsen an already fragile security situation. The Criminal Investigation Department of the military provost would have been better placed to conduct inquiries and make recommendations to government for a final decision, he said. Ekomo, who is the first chartered security professional in the country, said in 2017, I want you to listen, a total of 2,603 Boko Haram suspects were released. Released detainees should have been documented and analyzed. Can you imagine? To determine the sources of the mass release program. They release them like that. That's what they've been doing. Without such a protocol, the program would appear to be opaque and arbitrarily stated. Sadly, that is what it is. You don't see anything. They release them to their state governor, they release them to Sultan of Sokoto, they release them to all manner of people. That is all. A Christian soldier shot a Boko Haram person in the north, and the military court-martialed him and sentenced him to death. The net broadcast, I'll give you the name of the person. Look at it. Now let us look at this report. I'm coming down to show you the people who kidnapped the Chibok girls. The federal government on Tuesday, the 14th of March 2017, now they have started arraigning the Boko Haram suspect we are talking about. They have now started going to court. Okay. Now, I want you to listen. This one now is exactly the people that kidnapped the Chibok girls. Now, listen, I want the people, the whole world to listen and open their ears on this. The federal government on Tuesday, the 14th of March 2017, arraigned the alleged splinter group leader of Boko Haram, Mohammed Osman Aka Khalid Abawani, his second wife, Halima Aliyu, and 5 others on charges of terrorism, hostage taking, and murder of a total of 9 expatriates. Except the wife, his second wife, Haliru, the other, including Abawani, were accused of being members of Ansuru, a group described by the prosecution as breakaway from Boko Haram. The co-accused named in the case marked the case number is FHC/ABJ/CR/36/2017, and Mohammed Saleh Omar Bello aka Abu Azani, Mohammed Salisu aka Dati, Yakubu Nuhu aka Bello Maishagi, and Osman Abubakar aka Maigratu. They were arraigned on 11-count charge before Justice John Toho of the Federal High Court, Abuja. This was John Toho that refused to hands off Nnamdi Kalu's case, and they said they must hear it. Even when they accuse him of being biased, you will see how he voluntarily hands off this particular case. Another important news report on the same issue, 6 months later, the same case. Judge hands off trial of Boko Haram factional leader Abanawi, 8 others, Vanguard of October 3, 2017. Abuja, Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court in Abuja on Tuesday disqualified himself from further presiding over the trial of a factional leader of the Boko Haram sect. Now look at their names, the people that merge with Operation Focus release terrorists to kidnap the Chibok girls. These are their names. Look at it. Their name, the one that in Nigerian custody. Mohammed Osman Aka Khalid Abanawi. Mohammed Khalid Aka Abawani. Justice Soho withdrew from the case following the allegation by some of the defendants that he was biased. Can you imagine? Abanawi, who was identified as the head of the Boko Haram splinter group that specialized in kidnapping and murder of foreigners, is facing trial alongside 8 other alleged members of the sect. The sect is Jamadu, Ansu, Mushili, Buladi, Sudan. That is their name. Their own Boko Haram is Ansaru. And what are their names? Now look at their names. The ones that merge with Operation Focus Release Boko Haram to kidnap the Chibok girls. You have seen their name here. One, Mohammed Osman. That is Aka Khalid Abanawi. Look at the other ones. Muhammad Sani, Abubakar Abdurrahman Habibu. Muhammad Bashi Saleh, Omar Mohammed Bello, Aka Abu Azhar, Muhammad Salisi Ali Adati, Yakubu Nuhu, Aka Bello Maishagi. Those are the people, and I'm going to prove it. The last one is the wife of Abawani. The defendants are answering to an 11-count terrorism charge the federal government preferred against them. They had on March 14, when they were dogged before the High Court, pleaded not guilty to the charge even as the trial judge remanded them in Kuje prison. However, subsequent applications by the federal government, Justice Soho on April 25 reversed his earlier ruling and gave the Department of State Service, DSS, gave them the nod to retain the defendants in custody pending conclusion of the trial. Consequently, at the resumed sitting of the matter yesterday, that is October 2, 2017, 5 of the defendants, through their lawyers, said they were no longer confident in the ability of the judge to handle their trial objectively. Insisting that they have lost confidence in Justice Soho, the defendants said they would prefer to face trial before another judge on the High Court of the High Court. Okay, the 5 defendants, through their counsel, Samuel Atta, and Elisha Oluruntoba, accused Justice Soho of dancing to the tune of the federal government regarding their trial. Besides, they alleged that conditions of the DSS detention facility greatly worsened their health status, saying they were constantly denied access to their family members and legal representatives. Nevertheless, another defense lawyer on the case, Mr. Nathaniel Adejunle, told the court that his clients, Mohammed Sani Abubakar, Abdurrahman Habibu, were comfortable with Justice Soho being in charge of the case. On his part, the prosecution counsel, Mr. M.S. Labaran, urged the court to ignore the 5 defendants and proceed with the full-blown hearing of the case federal government initiated against them. Labaran maintained that the disqualification application was a deliberate ploy by the defendants to frustrate their trial. He noted that the federal government's request for the defendants to be kept in DSS was hinged on security reasons. I want you to listen, owing to their position in the Boko Haram hierarchy. The prosecution said it will not be in the interest of public safety and national security to remand the defendants in prison custody. More so, federal government, in an affidavit is filed before the court, stressed that the Kujo prison was not sufficient to protect Abawani, who leads a breakaway of the Abubakar Shekau faction, adding that they are one of the most wanted terrorists in the world. That is how powerful they are. This is a man the American Security Intelligence placed a reward of $5 million on his head to tell you how he is. Meantime, in his bench ruling, Justice Soho said he was minded to hands off the trial. Can you imagine? Voluntarily. He ordered that the case file be remitted back to the acting chief judge of the court, Justice Abdul Kafarati, for the assignment to another judge. Federal government had in the charge before the court, among other things, alleged that the defendants, being leaders of the splinter Boko Haram sect, were involved in the killing of 11 foreigners. I want you to let 11 foreigners in northern Nigeria between 2011 and 2013. So it cannot be a local case again. It is an international case. And I know why I'm raising all these charges. I'm going to point out something for you to the whole world. Now, let's look at the Punch newspaper of March 14, 2017, provided more details on the murdered expatriate workers. According to the report, we are going to hear the names of the murdered expatriate workers. The prosecution accused them of conspiracy to commit an act of terrorism contrary to Section 17 of Terrorism Prevention Act 2011 as amended in 2013 and punishable under the same section of the Act. They were also accused of murder of internationally protected person contrary to Section 3A of Terrorism Prevention Act 2011 as amended in 2013 and punishable under the same section of the Act. The defendants were said to have in February 2013 at Ikrima, Boko Haram camp in Sambisa, murdered 7 internationally protected persons. The murdered expatriates were named as Carlos Bu Aziz, Brenda Vonham, Silvano Trevisen, Konstantinos Karas, Gaida Yassa Saad, that's a female, Julio Ibrahim, Ekul, and Ahmad El Andari. So it's not a local case again. Very important to note, the alleged terrorists allegedly buried the bodies in a shallow grave. Can you imagine? Have the world now noted the source of the DAS plant that claimed IPOB members murdered the 5 Hausa Fulani herdsmen in Abia State and buried them in shallow graves along with other 50 unidentified corpses buried in shallow grave in a forest in Isukwato in Abia State? The same people. The same people. Can you imagine? The same DSS operators, the same in collaboration with the so-called Boko Haram. That is what is going on. That is what the world is saying. Now look at it. The report continues. In count 4, the defendants were accused of hostage taking contrary to Section 15C of Terrorism Prevention Act 2001 as amended in 2013 and punishable under the section of the Act. The defendants allegedly in February 18, 2013 at live camp yard of the Setraco Construction Company in Jamare, Bauchi State, did knowingly seize and continue to detain the 7 expatriates workers. The murdered expatriates were allegedly detained by the defendants at Ikrima Boko Haram camp in Sambisa Forest for a period of about 10 days before their eventual murder and burial in shallow graves. Now, when you go through all the counts that these people were given, I want people to note one thing. The government of Buhari intentionally did not mention anything about the kidnap of the Chibok girls. But these are the main rape people that kidnapped the Chibok girls. The main rape people. Can you imagine? Instructively, Nigerian Army announced in April 2016 that they have arrested Abawani at Lokoja. Very important to note also that Kadiq Abawani, his real name is Osman Omar Abubakar, leader of the Ansaru Jihadist group in April 2016, was one of 3 Nigerians listed by Washington as specially designated global terrorists and placed a 5 million bounty on his head after they are branding him a specially designated global terrorist. Do you know why? Because they knew that these are the people that kidnapped the Chibok girls. I want the world to listen and watch today's date and see what is going to happen. They will either kill them or release them, because this is the man that you will use to prove the CIA and the American collaboration with terrorists and all these things that are happening in the Niger Delta. It is through him that you will be able to prove that John Kerry, the former American Secretary of State, is the same as General Ado Awalaja of the Niger Delta Greenland Justice Mandate. I'm going to prove everything. These are the people that were commissioned when hostilities start to assassinate President Goodluck Jonathan and his wife and other people. They are the military, Boko Haram military commanders that will take charge of operations in Biafra land. What Buhari did when they exchanged those terrorists with the Chibok girls, is they separated the Yusuf-led members that joined them so that the world cannot be able to build a connection, so that they will not be able to know who kidnapped the Chibok girls. Those 4 terrorists that were escorted, that were changed for the 21 Chibok girls, are terrorists that carried the ransom money. They carried that United Nations and all of them escorted. Buhari paid them that ransom money. They went with the ransom money as they were exchanged with the girls. And that money was shared. Balami, all of them, even though they were in detention, all of them got their own share. Every evidence will be provided. Let the world demand for an international collaboration in the trial of this suspect that are already in the Nigerian custody as from today. Let Buhari hands off. What today's date? And we are going to see what is going to happen. I don't want to say much. I want to stop here. But as we go on, I'll provide you with every element evidences in order to prove my point. But I am telling you, these are the people that kidnapped the Chibok girls, and as God will have it, they are right now in the security net of the Nigerian Armed Forces. We are going to stop here. I'm coming back shortly again because very soon we are going to talk in a number of elections and people will see exactly what they have already planned. Okay? Okay, bye-bye.